Welcome back to the 801 Diaries podcast. I'm Abby.
And I'm Emily.
How are you doing, Emily?
I'm doing pretty good. I got my bread and I bought like fancy butter. So it's in
Ooh,
a
she
special shape and that has
schmazz.
salt crystals all throughout it.
Ooh,
So it's like good butter, like
slay.
good butter. So I'm doing really good. How are you
My
doing, Abby?
my dream is to make a mold of myself and then make my own butter and make an Abby butter. I think
Ooh,
that
I
would
will
slay
like
really
that.
hard. I think
I
that'd be
think so.
really cool.
I agree. I'm on board. How
So,
are you though?
I'm good. I'm good. Pretty chill. Nothing too
Pretty
exciting.
chill. Pretty chill.
Yeah. Anything to report?
I saw the Thunderbolts movie recently.
Oh, how was
Um,
that?
so good.
I've heard
It
it
felt
feels like an old.
It feels like an old Marvel, and I really appreciated it. Again, Sebastian Stan. There's
Oh,
nothing that this man could do that could be wrong, and I just want everyone to know
I just love
his
him.
like bad A scene in it was filmed in Utah, and
Slay.
I just take a lot of pride in that because holy cow, does that man look
Yeah.
good in this movie?
Sebastian
Sebastian,
Stan. Man,
man,
you're looking good.
yeah, you're killing all the ladies.
Bow, bow,
It
bow,
is
bow.
pow, 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 pow. No, it was such a good movie. I think you needed to see a little bit of the Sam Wilson Captain America to get for like certain aspects of
Mm,
what was going on. I hadn't seen it, but you caught up really quickly. But there were
gotcha.
things that were talked about that were like,
I bet that was from
you know
Captain
what I mean?
America. Yeah.
But it's okay. But no, it was really good. It felt like a good old fashioned Avengers movie, which
Good.
is what I think everybody's wanted from MCU. And so it
Yes.
brings a lot of hope for Doomsday and Doctor Doom and all like the next, I think it gives a lot of hope with how they set this up
That's good
because
because I'm
they
so
set it
over
up
it.
really well.
Good because I'm
No,
so over
I
Marvel.
completely agree. I completely agree. It's been a nightmare, but this was a really good. Like David Harbour is so
I love
flippin'
him.
funny in this movie.
I love him.
Like the father-daughter relationship between Red
Yelena.
Guardian and Yelena is actually the funniest thing ever, and I love it so much. And so I'm all for this version of Marvel moving
Good.
forward. So
Because I
this is
do.
this is a good one.
I love Florence Pugh. I
Yes.
love Sebastian Stan.
He is the love of my
I
life.
mean, I you can't really go wrong. So
Yeah. So, but I really, really liked Thunderbolts. It
good.
was good. It was
That's
really
good.
good.
That's
Highly
good.
recommend. So
I'll have
there
to
we
go
go.
see it.
That's about it. That's all that's new.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything new. So
Okay.
just it's my favorite season and I'm so happy to be in summer.
Summer is a good time.
Summer slays. So
Summer sleighs.
big swag. Um,
Big time.
so there's not really any pop culture this week. You know,
No.
we're chilling.
We're
We're
chilling.
chilling big time. So naturally, we thought
Why did you cough like
I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of going crazy. But,
that? Okay.
anyways, we thought we would do a bracket. We're gonna do a
We love a
bracket.
bracket. We love a bracket in this
We do.
podcast. I think
We
they're so
do.
flippin' fun.
They
This
are
is a
so
fun one
flippin' fun.
too, because Abby made this one, and I normally make the brackets, so this is fun for me
Yes.
because I didn't have to do it, and I don't know anything about it, so this is all just a
Okay.
random moment.
Yeah. So for this bracket, we are going to be doing iconic TV couples from the 2010s.
Ooh, this is good.
Woo!
This will be really good.
So, while making this bracket, I realized, whoa, there's about three or four shows I have seen ever.
Amazing.
And they are all from about the 2010s and they all slay. So, well, so there's a couple that were like beginning like 2000s, but they did go into the 2010s a little bit. Some
That's
were like
okay. It's
2010s. Like it's around the 2010 era.
I have a feeling I know what you're talking about, and I approve.
Yes. And so I also wanted there to be a lot on here. So again, it's probably about four shows because I wanted them. mostly I wanted them to be both shows we've both seen. Some of them aren't, but you
That's
know,
okay. Yeah,
we'll
we
see
got
how this
this.
goes. This might be a disaster. It might work. I don't know.
I think it'll be great. I'm on board.
So let's start the tournament. Okay. Oh, view bracket. Okay. Okay. First one. First matchup. What is it? Oh, I'll tell you. It is. It is Damon and Elena from The Vampire
Okay.
Diaries
Okay.
versus Rachel and Jesse St. James from Glee.
Rachel and Jesse St. James. Easy.
Okay, so I've never seen Glee. However,
Okay.
I hate Damon and Elena. I
I
hate them
hate
so
they
much.
are
They are the worst.
they
Why they made
absolutely
them
are.
Endgame, I will never forgive them
I will
for that.
never understand. I hated it so much. I literally stopped watching Vampire Diaries when they got together because I hated it so much. Like after Stefan and Elena broke up, I was like, get out of here. I don't like this at all. But yeah, Rachel and Jesse, the fact that Jesse's whole name is Jesse because Ryan Murphy wanted Finn to sing Jesse's
Jesse's
girl,
Girl,
which
iconic.
which iconic. Quite literally, that's the best version of that song anyway,
Oh,
is
it's incredible.
Cory
Yep.
Monteith. Like it is
Hmm.
incredible. And honestly, I'm so like I know that Rachel is supposed to end up with Finn, and that's how we wanted it to end. But if she was gonna end up with anybody besides Finn, Jesse
Jesse
was
St.
the correct
James.
choice.
Yes.
Duh.
Again, I've never seen Glee, but I
I'm very
love
passionate about
Jonathan
this.
Groff, so I'm here for that. I'm here for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know exactly.
And
Okay, easy.
um I hate Damon and Elena. Anyways,
Yeah. Disgusting couple.
yes. Next couple. We
Okay.
have Pam and Jim
Okay.
and Blaine and Kurt from Pam and Jim from The Office, Blaine and Kurt from Glee.
From Glee. Ooh.
Again, I've never seen Glee, so for me it's
Yes.
Pam and Jim, pretty easy.
You know, here's the thing. I will say it's Pam and Jim
Okay.
because Blaine and Kurt had a rocky relationship. Now, Sue Sylvester locked him in an elevator
No,
with
no,
a
no.
demon doll.
Let's she created a fake elevator. Well,
That's
locked
true.
them in. And again, I've never seen this show, but I do know this. Locked them in a fake elevator and made them do Saw-like games to end up kissing and get out of the elevator.
Because she loved Klain so much.
Yes. So that
And
does kind of slay. I'm gonna say that
I
does
mean,
slay.
that does slay. There's a lot of things about it, but overall, I will say what knocks them down is Blaine dating Kurt's bully
Yeah.
when they're on a break.
Yeah.
That's
That would
that's
do
a
it.
and not even just like a little bully. Like
Like big
Karofsky was
bully.
a
Big
bully.
bully.
Big
Also,
bully.
Jim and Pam are just like one of those couples. Like they are so
Yes.
iconic. They are
They're
so
so
iconic.
iconic. And like realistically, you know, they got together and they stayed together and they kind of just worked through normal life things. Like they
Yeah.
felt like a very attainable couple.
Yeah.
Klain, on the other hand, not so much. But I will say, is there a more iconic breakup song than Darren Criss playing Teenage Dream a cappella on the like acoustic
Absolutely not.
on the piano? Like that is absolutely amazing. That is the
I
best
will
version of
say,
that song to ever exist.
again, let me repeat myself. I have never seen Glee. However, Darren Criss gets on a song. I'm sat for that. I am sat for that. That man is so freaking talented.
It's
And
insane.
he thrived in the Glee setting. There was something
Yes.
about his covers of these songs that are just out of this world.
Unworld. Like we could literally do a whole bracket on Darren Criss Glee covers.
Yes.
Which I think is a great bracket to do.
We might have to
because
do that. And again, as someone who has never seen Glee, I'm sure I would know them all because they are
Because
so good. They're
so
so
iconic.
good.
But the acoustic Teenage Dream when he's telling Kurt that he cheated on him.
Wow.
Unreal. Sorry.
Okay.
But
So it's Jim and Pam. We got to move
Yeah,
on.
no, absolutely.
Next, we have Spencer and Toby from Pretty Little Liars
Ooh, okay.
up against April and Andy from Parks and Rec.
April and Andy.
Really? I think out of the relationships from Pretty Little Liars, Spencer and Toby are like number 2 for me. They are so good.
I think they are so good.
But okay, let me say this. Let me say this. We are ignoring the last season of Pretty Little Liars because that was a train wreck, and I don't accept that as canon.
And when we're doing this, because I'm sure there's going to be a very problematic couple that we loved that comes later. Can are we doing it based off of our fully formed adult brains, or are we
No,
going back to 17?
we're going back to when these came out.
Okay, amazing. Okay, here's the thing. April and Andy were each other's cheerleaders through like there was nobody that loved and supported each other more than April and Andy from the get-go. Like even
See,
before they started dating, they were like there for each other. And then they knew they wanted to get married right away, and they shared that frisbee with a shared fork and chili. Like there's just something about
they're
how
very
and like
wholesome.
they're very wholesome. And I always but like and I also really recently rewatched Parks and Rec, so I'm they're more fresh on my brain than Spencer and
See,
Toby.
I just rewatched Pretty
Um
Little Liars.
so there we go. So we can debate for each other. But I feel like with April and Andy, like they were so like when Andy was trying to figure out what he wanted to do, April was so supportive and just like, okay, like let's figure it out. Like you don't if you don't want to do this, shoe shine, like let's figure out what it is you're passionate about, and like so supportive of that. Same when April was like really not feeling it at national parks and really didn't know. He's like, whatever, like take the time to figure out what you want to do. Like we'll do it to get like there was so much support from each other's end that I just loved. I loved the like the roots of their relationship so much.
See, but don't you think they're like kind of the most unrealistic couple because they are so like childlike in a way, you know what I mean? Like they're just so naive and so like okay, I haven't watched Parks and Rec in a little while. I remember
Okay.
them getting on my nerves really bad because
Really?
they were so stupid. Like I don't know, like there was some like critical thought that was lacking like so aggressively and all the time that
I think
you
that's
just knew
mostly on Chris Pratt's
they were
character
yes,
end.
but they were going to burn their house down together. And I feel like in a
But they did
marriage,
it together.
you need someone with a little bit of critical thought that can, keep the house from
No,
burning down.
I understand that. And I think they got there because eventually like, when it does the flash forward to 2017, like the 3 years forward, they
Hmm.
talk about how boring they are because, they take ibuprofen before they do like they eventually got
That's
there in
fair.
a
That's fair.
but like I mean when you think about it, April was like 19 or 20 when they got together. Like
I know. I'm
she was
not
like they like
saying.
posed as like um Andy was posed as this like juvenile character obviously. Um but I don't know. I there's something I just love about April and Andy. But let's defend Spencer and Toby. Let's hear from your end because you've watched it
They
recently.
they are the most iconic couple ever. Oh my gosh. They understood each other. He got how uptight and how important life was to her, and she understood all of his trauma and what he had been through, and they came together and they loved each other so much and they were so perfect because they loved each other so much, but they understood how each other's brains worked, and they understood how what they needed from each other and how they could be so happy together.
I get it. I just feel like, but I feel like they had that and they did trust each other. But I always felt like, and again, we're excluding the last season. There was always part of Spencer though that never, and I mean, that's probably part of A and like what she was, like what A did to them mentally. But it just felt like she never. It felt like she could never fully trust Toby, and I feel like that's
But
for
I
all
don't
the
think
girls
any of them
probably.
could. I was going to say I don't think
Yeah,
any of them could because they had this stalker trying to kill
yeah,
everyone they loved every second of every day.
it's true.
But they still chose to
Um,
love.
they did choose to
Isn't
love.
that beautiful?
That
Isn't
is.
that beautiful?
That is. I will let them move on because I do think of the Pretty Little Liars couples, they are one of the they
They're
are
number two.
they're in
They're
the
number
better
two.
end. Yeah.
Okay.
But I do love
Oh,
April and Andy.
oh, that is so crazy that these are paired up against each other. I shuffled it like 10 times before starting.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Serena and Dan versus Chuck and Blair.
Chuck and Blair.
Both from
That is the
Gossip Girl.
easiest. That is the
Easiest.
easiest. There is not a worse couple than Serena and Dan.
Okay, so here's the thing. You go back and watch it, and I don't hate them as much. I think the reason that we hate them so much is because Serena had so many better options that like why did she
True.
go with Dan? Like them as a couple really isn't that bad. She just she should have been with Nate. That's all I'm
She should
saying.
have been with
She
Nate.
should have been with Nate. So I think
Absolutely.
that's why we hate them so much.
Well, and
And
I
I
just
don't know.
hate
I'm Penn Badgley's biggest
I
fan right now because of you.
yes.
This whole like
I
press tour thing, I am
he's
loving Penn
amazing.
Badgley right now.
I
So
love Penn Badgley.
maybe I am coming at this with a more sympathetic heart because of that.
Okay, but also who is Dan Humphrey's number one hater? Penn Badgley.
That's true. That's fair.
So like, but like it's so funny because he like Penn Badgley, his criticism of Dan is exactly how I feel about Dan. Is like when Dan is crying that he is not he's so poor and so just whatever. And Penn is like, you're living in an $8 million loft and you go to a
In
crazy New York
Brooklyn.
City in
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Like you live in and then you go to this crazy awesome private school. Too
Yeah.
bad you don't have $100,000 trust fund, but you're not poor, Dan, even
No.
though you keep telling people you are.
No.
And I like, and he's like, and you're friends with these people. You go to school with them. You're part of them. Why
Yes.
are you acting like it's some foreign world that Serena is in? That is
Or
that
that
is
like he's so
he's
oppressed and he's so poor and he's just so ew.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like I hate Dan Humphrey like so much. But Chuck and Blair, let's look at
They're
the positive because
perfect.
obviously it's Chuck and Blair. They win
Yes.
that round. They're perfect together. And
They are.
throughout the series, they're perfect together. Like I just love them so much.
I love them so much too.
I like don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
I
like they're just
love Chuck and
perfect.
Blair.
They are perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go forward.
Hmm.
Next, we have Klaus and Caroline from The Vampire Diaries
Okay.
up against Rachel and Jesse St. James.
Rachel and Jesse.
No. No. Emily,
Here's
no.
here
No, 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 no. You need to go back and watch Vampire Diaries. Klaus and Caroline are the best couple to come out of that show. And they
okay.
didn't even end up together, and it breaks my heart. But they are the best couple to come out of that show. Absolutely. Hands down. Absolutely.
And they broke up?
Well, they just could never really because Klaus was such a bad guy. They could never really make it work. But he wasn't a bad guy for Caroline. I will go to the ends of the earth. That is the single number one robbing of the century. Like in TV shows, that couple, we were robbed so hard. They should have been endgame. And they afterwards the other show, was it the originals or
Legacies or
legacies,
something?
whatever. Caroline came back for that show and they still loved each other. And they still couldn't
Aw.
be together because of Klaus's bad decisions.
Oh no. Since you're so passionate, I will say they will. I really didn't get that far into Vampire Diaries to know.
I'm not kidding, Emily.
So
They were the best couple in that show. They slayed so hard. They deserved a happy ending so bad. So
but
bad.
they didn't get one.
They didn't get one.
Obviously.
And
okay.
and she married Stefan at the last episode and then he died on the wedding.
Okay.
That has the worst ending. I think Vampire Diaries has one of the worst endings ever. That's another one where we ignore the last couple seasons. Anyways, after Elena left, we ignore that. Okay, so this one, I really needed another one.
Okay.
So this one, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Carrie and Sebastian from the Carrie Diaries versus Angela and Dwight from The Office. Now, I haven't seen the Carrie Diaries in a long time.
In a long time, but I love
I
them
remember
together.
loving them. I remember loving them so very much. But Angela and Dwight are so iconic and they are hilarious. They are so funny.
They're perfect for each other. Like
And
I
they
think
had
they're
such-
more
they
perfect
had
for
such
each
a
other
great
than Pam
arc.
and Jim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had such a great arc. I feel like it has to be Angela and Dwight, but I did love the Carrie Diaries and I did love them together.
I was so sad when that got canceled.
I know.
Because that was like a really good show. And I think I had seen the Sex and City movie once, but I hadn't watched the show. And I haven't watched the show. But I remember loving Carrie Diaries. So I wanted to eventually watch Sex and the City, but I never got around to it. But I loved Carrie Diaries.
Okay. Coming back. to
Cam.
maybe something that when we were younger we really loved, and looking back we're like, okay, maybe that's not totally cool. Arya and
Amazing. I think
Ezra versus from what's that show called?
Pretty Little
Pretty
Liars.
Little Liars
Yep.
versus Bonnie and Enzo from The Vampire Diaries.
It's
It's Arya
it's
and Ezra.
it's Arya and Ezra. They're like, I'm not kidding. If I pull myself out of fully fledged formed adult brain and I
Yes.
put myself back in 17-year-old, that is the number one couple in Pretty Little Liars.
See, they're number three for me. They're number three
Okay.
for me.
They're my number
But
one.
I do love them so very much. I
So
do
much.
like Jenny, like this show came out when I was like 13, 14, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was young. I
Yeah.
just thought this was the purest love ever. Like this was what
Yeah.
love was. This
Yeah.
poor, this a
They
fully
loved each
grown
other so
adult
much.
who came back to high school and we found out knew her age, knew who she was, hunted her down.
See, that's the part where it gets really bad. If it was just them,
If
they
they
met, and if it's purely them, season 1 through 3,
love them so very much.
amazing.
But
I am an adult now, and I do understand the problematicness behind the
yes,
nature of their relationship.
yes,
Now, we're not grading this on that because obviously it's Ezra and Arya.
yes.
Duh.
Bonnie and Enzo are my second favorite couple from The Vampire Diaries. However, they were so meant to be. And oh my
Who's
gosh,
Enzo?
he was a vampire and he was like he came I think if I remember correctly, he came when Damon and Stefan's mom came in. He came in at the
Their
same
mom
time.
came?
Yes. Vampire Diaries went on for like 6 seasons too long. However,
Wow.
Bonnie and Enzo were the best couple ever. And I think it was Stefan. Screw you, Stefan. And I mean that with my whole heart.
Okay.
He killed Enzo. Right in front of Bonnie. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. My heart has never recovered. Okay,
Amazing.
so this next one is hilarious that these two are paired up against each other. However,
Okay.
I think we're going to have a very easy answer because you haven't seen the show. Pam and Jim from The Office
Okay.
versus Nathan and Haley from One Tree Hill. Now, we've
You've
talked
talked a
about
lot
this
about
before. We've talked about
Yeah.
this before. Emily refuses to watch One Tree Hill, and nothing pisses me off more. Nothing
Yeah.
pisses me off more because this show is so freaking incredible. Like she would love this show so freaking much, and she just absolutely refuses to watch it. And literally nothing boils my blood more. Anyways, Nathan and Haley are the iconic couple from this show.
They're the one that had the baby, and he's the basketball player, and then
Yes.
he doesn't get drafted, and then he gets drafted later, right?
Yes, yes.
There's some problem where the NBA, and then he gets drafted later.
He gets paralyzed. Anyways,
Sorry.
I love One Tree Hill so freaking much, and they have a
Yes.
rewatch podcast, and they're like second half of season 8, and there's only 9 seasons, and not season 9 was a short season, so like getting to the end, and it's so good. I love that show so much. Anyways, Nathan and Haley are like the couple from that show, like Pam and Jim are the couple from The Office. So it's very funny that these two were put up together, but, and I'm gonna make my argument here.
Okay.
Even though I think we're gonna end up with Pam and Jim because you've never seen One Tree Hill, which
Right.
One Tree Hill went on for 9 seasons. How long did The Office go?
9 seasons.
Okay. Nathan and Haley were together in season 1. They were together all 9 seasons. Okay?
That's impressive.
That is so, I mean, they had their ups and downs, don't get me wrong. But they were together all 9 seasons, okay? People have written songs about this relationship. It has inspired other things. People like on their wedding day are like, we are Nathan and Haley. Like this is
Wow.
like it is one of like I would say the most iconic relationships of all time. I would say more iconic than Pam and Jim.
Would you though?
Because
I feel like the Pam and Jim, they have a very similar response in the world. People want to find their Pam and Jim. They copy the wedding that they had with the dance and everything. Like I feel like Pam and Jim are all like I feel like if you're saying their weddings are copied, Pam and Jim also the same could be said about
I
them as
know,
well.
that's why this is so hard. Because
I
I
think,
Nathan and Haley are really like, I know you haven't seen the show, but they are
but
like
you have
so
explained they are
iconic.
so,
They're
I
so
understand.
iconic.
Yes, you have mentioned, you have like talked about this. Like, so I do understand that. I think though,
Podcast. We have to get her to watch this freaking show. She would love it so much. This is what bugs me so bad is I want her to watch it because yes, I love the show. She would love it so much. And then we could do a whole podcast episode about it. So
we could. One day I'll watch it. I just
make
haven't
that
gotten
day
to it.
today. Please. Please.
Okay. We'll
Anyways,
see. I think it's Pam and Jim because I think when it comes to a mainstream, the greater populace at all, they're a bigger couple than
maybe, but I think the
I
fans of
understand.
Nathan
I
and Haley are more
understand.
passionate.
Probably, well, some of those Office people.
I know, but I would say there are more One Tree Hill people like that than Office people. But
Okay.
I will give it to Pam and Jim because you have never seen One Tree Hill. But if you had seen One Tree Hill, you would agree with me.
Okay.
And that's all I have to say. Okay.
Oh no.
We have another One Tree Hill couple. Brooke and
Amazing.
Julian from One Tree Hill versus Spencer and Toby from Pretty Little Liars. Now, let me get my soapbox about One Tree Hill out real quick. Or Brooke and Julian. They were absolutely perfect. They are one of the cutest couples. They are number 2 couple for me in this show.
Behind
Nathan and Haley, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love them so very much. However,
Okay.
Spencer and Toby, I mean, I love them too.
Yeah,
and where you
I
haven't
love Spencer and
seen
Toby.
you haven't seen One Tree Hill, I am willing to give up Brooke and Julian for Spencer and Toby.
Okay. I think Spencer and Toby though are like a good couple. Like they're solid.
Yes.
Okay.
But Brooke and Julian slayed so hard, so
there we go.
Don't forget that. Okay. Oh, this one's crazy. Okay. Nate and Serena from Gossip Girl. Because again, these are not like who they ended up with. These are just couples.
These are couples, just couples.
Versus Rachel and Finn from Glee. This one's crazy. Because again, I don't know if I've mentioned this. I've never seen Glee. However, I do know how iconic Rachel and Finn were. Also, I have seen the quarterback episode, so but Nate and Serena should have been endgame.
They should have been. Hands down, Nate and Serena, dare I say, top Chuck and Blair as a better couple. I
don't know.
There's some, I don't know.
Close. They're close.
Theoretically, they both started the same way. Let's just say that.
True.
But
well, actually, Blair and Nate were not together when her and Chuck hooked up.
True.
Nate and Blair were together when Nate and Serena hooked up. Anyways.
Yes. Theoretically, though,
it's the same thing.
Similar.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. This is really hard because I'm very passionate about Nate and Serena, obviously.
I'm going to defer to you on this one.
So there's that side. But Rachel and Finn, and okay, I might be a little bit biased right now because Leah Michelle is on tour and she did the Therapist podcast and she talked about Corey and Finn.
Yes.
And so it's really fresh in my mind. And like I've seen a lot of TikToks about Finn lately. And I will say, I think it's Rachel and Finn because season 3 finale, they're supposed to get married. They're dressed, they're going to their wedding. And instead of pulling up to the courthouse, Finn pulls into the train station and has her bag packed so she can move to New York and pursue her dream. And it just makes you cry. Because it's like, and he runs along the train. I'm gonna cry. He runs along the train as they're singing because she's like leaving. And he knows like this is what's best for Rachel, but neither of them want to do it. Like they want to get married and be together. And then obviously everything that happens later with Finn. It just is really, sad. I think because I just think there was a much deeper love between them. I think Nate and Serena could have gotten there. I don't think they had the chance to develop a as deep of a relationship as Finn and Rachel did. So
That's
I
fair.
think it's Finn and Rachel
I'm good with that.
because I think it's just like they were always meant to be together. Like Ryan Murphy from the beginning, that they were the last scene. The last scene was Rachel walking into the choir room saying I'm home, and then Finn runs and gives her a hug. I didn't cry. Again, the quarterback episode Abby has seen just kills you.
That's when she sings to make you feel my love, right?
Yeah. And
That scene
she
alone,
wasn't
gets it to him.
she wasn't singing it to Finn. She was singing it to Corey, and it's a
Yeah,
killer.
that's true because they were together in real life too.
Like
And
that would
that
like
is
she lost her real the
fiance.
love of her life. Yeah. And it's just really sad. So I think it's Finn and Rachel.
Yes.
Long tangent. But I love them so much.
Yes.
I love it doesn't discredit how great Nate and Serena were, how they should have been endgame. But Finn and Rachel is
Yes.
more than that, you know?
I agree. I agree. All right. Next one. This one is also kind of funny because these are two slays.
Okay.
Stefan and Elena
Okay.
versus Hannah and Caleb.
Hannah and Caleb.
Hannah and Caleb are my number one couple from Pretty Little Liars. I love them so much. No one understood each other better than them. No one would like
Yeah.
they were so perfect. When everyone else was having relationship problems,
They were the
they
solid
got
couple.
it. They got it. They
Yeah.
were so perfect for each other. Stefan
Yeah.
and
Say
Elena should have been endgame,
they
absolutely.
should have been as well. But
But
it's Haley because Hannah and Caleb, they're my number two behind Arya and Ezra.
Ezra,
There's something about Arya and Ezra that I just
just love
still
them.
I have to I just remove my fully formed brain when I watch the show and I just relish in how great and how much I love their love story.
Mm-hmm.
But Hannah and Caleb are like my close second because I
I
love
love
them.
Hannah and Caleb. And like they just had the most pure love. I don't know. They
They
were just
really
so
did.
sweet. I love them so much.
Yeah. Stefan
Um
and Elena, they were great. Again though, she left him for Damon.
yes. And I also just like Pretty Little Liars more than I like Vampire Diaries. So,
Same.
yeah.
Same. So I think I care more about the Pretty Little
Yes.
Liars. I'm more invested in Pretty Little Liars relationships than
I would agree.
Vampire Diaries.
Okay. Next. Chuck
Okay.
and Blair
Okay.
versus Brittany and Santana from Glee.
Ooh.
Okay, again,
It's
I've never
Chuck
seen
and Blair,
Glee.
I think.
It's Chuck and Blair.
I do think it's Chuck and Blair. But I will say, if Brittany and Santana were up against a lot of other ones on this list, they're more iconic. They're
Okay.
better. Brittany
See,
and Santana is actually I think behind Finn and Rachel as the best relationship in Glee.
really? Okay,
Yeah,
see, I feel
no,
like they're like the couple I know least about in Glee. Because again, I've
yeah,
never seen it. But Santana is hilarious.
we love her
so
so
funny.
much. I think in Glee couples, it's Finn and Rachel followed closely by Santana and Brittany. Like that is like
Even
Britannia
more than
is
Blaine and Kurt.
yes, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, and it's funny because Santana talks about how much they're a better couple than Blaine and Kurt in
There
the
you go.
show, and it's so funny. But I will say the one thing about one thing that makes me love them is they recognize that Kurt and Blaine were meant to be together, all that kind of junk, whatever. So at their own wedding, Brittany and Santana's wedding, they turned it into a surprise double wedding for Kurt and Blaine. And them.
Cute.
So they shared their wedding with them, and I just think, what
What
selfless
a
queen,
slay.
selfless queens,
Slay.
slay. So yeah, no, I think they're couple number two in Glee, but it is Chuck
However,
and Blair.
you can't Chuck and Blair.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
next we have Klaus and Caroline from the Vampire Diaries
Okay.
up against Angela and Dwight. I'm okay with
Angela and
Angela and
Dwight.
Dwight. I'm
Okay.
okay with that. Even though I do
You do
love
you
Klaus and
do love them.
Caroline so much. I'm not kidding. We were robbed. We were, it was like a house invasion with this one. They were so, oh, we missed out. I love them so much. Next. Okay, this one's gonna get crazy.
Okay.
Arya and Ezra up against Pam and Jim. Two very different couples.
Very different.
Very, very different couples. I think it depends on what way we want to take this. Are we going
Because
for healthy couples or
or
couples
couples we
that
love
slay?
more.
Couples that slay, you know?
Couples that slay.
Or healthy couples.
Are we taking the unhealthy route?
I think we're taking the unhealthy route. I think it's Arya and Ezra.
Because I won't lie. I need to preface this every time because it's important to them specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Pre fully formed brain, they were my favorite couple
They
of all
slayed.
time. Like
They slayed
they
so hard.
absolutely beat Jim and Pam.
Mm-hmm.
If we take healthiness into consideration, they shouldn't be on the list at all.
Not at all. But
But
we're not.
we're not.
That's not
We're
what this is all about. Yeah.
we're 17 again and we're
Yep.
watching this for the first time. It's
Exactly.
Ari and Ezra. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
All right. We love you, Jim and Pam.
Love you so
Um,
much.
Next, we have Spencer and Toby up against Rachel and Finn.
Rachel and Finn.
So this is the thing. At some point, we have to make the decision that Abby has never seen Glee. So, if this
Yes.
is a communal bracket where we are coming together for this, Abby has never seen Glee. So
Yes.
Abby does not I
She
get
does, you don't have the same emotional attachment to
yes.
them as I will say. In defense of you not seeing Glee, you have seen the quarterback,
That is
which
true.
is very important in understanding their relationship. Okay,
I am
but
okay this going on one more round. This can go
yes,
one step further.
I would say if they were paired with other couples that f- Hannah and Caleb, for example, I think I would give it to Hannah and Caleb just because
That's
I
fair.
think Spencer. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair.
I will. I definitely take your not seeing Glee into consideration, but I think for this case,
I
I'm
saw the
scared.
next one. Okay.
It's
Okay, so
it's Finn
Rachel
and
and
Rachel.
Finn, I'm okay with them going on one more.
Yes.
Alrighty. Next one we have, this one is a doozy. We have Hannah and
Okay.
Caleb
Okay.
versus Chuck and Blair. Now, this is a difficult one, but I think it's Hannah and Caleb because Chuck and Blair were so toxic together. While they slayed so hard and no one could have ended up with either someone else, they slayed so hard. Hannah and Caleb were so pure. They just loved
Yeah.
each other so much.
No,
And
I agree.
they really they wanted the best for each other. They broke up when it wasn't working, but they got back together. Like they really they wanted the best for each other. And I feel like they were just such a better couple.
No, I agree. Now, in a non-toxic way, do I think Chuck and Blair are the best couple of all time? Yes, I love them so much. But when
Yes.
you compare them, you know, compare the two, I do think Hannah and Caleb were the better
I
couple.
will say, Caleb never sold Hannah for a hotel. So,
And, you know, it's, Hannah
I don't
never gave
know.
up her professor to kiss Caleb for a speech to take away
Exactly.
from Hillary Duff.
See? See? You know,
I think I will agree that I think Hannah and Caleb are a better couple. Now, in my non but like I said, Chuck and Blair forever, but Caleb and
absolutely.
Hannah win this one for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Okay.
We're on to the almost semifinals. What's the one before semifinals?
I don't know.
I don't know. We're right before the semifinals. We have
Quarterfinals.
quarterfinals. Angela and Dwight versus Arya and Ezra. Now again, we have turned our frontal lobe off. Okay, it's gone,
It's Ariane
and it's Arya and
Ezra.
Ezra. I just, they slayed so hard. They
They
really
really
did.
did. They really did.
They really
Like when
did.
he quits
Oh
his
wait, this
job and
is the
she runs in the
semifinals.
rain.
This is the
When
semifinals.
she
I'm sorry.
when he quits his
In the
job at
school
Rosewood
parking
and
lot.
she runs in the rain and then they
In the
kiss.
school parking lot.
Yeah, again, frontal lobe
Gone.
non-existent.
Gone.
Gone, disappeared. That was truly iconic.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the
Like,
best moments in cinema history.
yeah, so it's Ariana. That's right. Absolutely.
Already. Okay, this
Okay.
is actually the semifinals. I don't know how to read. Um,
Okay.
Rachel and Finn versus Hannah and Caleb.
We talked about this last time. I will go with Hannah and Caleb.
Thank you.
I I I I think quite honestly, for the different cinematic universes that they live in, they're very similar to each other.
I would agree. I would agree.
But
From what I
I
know.
think yeah. But I think since we've both seen Pretty Little
Pretty Little
Liars, We Love
Liars.
Hannah and Caleb, I think it's them. But I think in their respective series, they're a similar
Couple.
type couple.
There you go.
Yes.
Alrighty. We have made it to the finale. Both from honestly what I would say one of top 3 best teen TV shows of all time. Again, ignoring the last season. Pretty Little Liars.
And that your frontal lobe isn't developed.
And the frontal lobe is not developed. This is back when they were airing. Okay, we're going back to when it was airing.
No, when it was airing, this was my number one.
Probably.
Like,
I don't think I'd seen One Tree Hill yet. So, because One Tree Hill is my number one.
This is so good.
This is so good.
Yeah.
All right, we have Arya and Ezra versus Hannah and Caleb. And I think it has to be Hannah and Caleb. Arya and Ezra,
I was thinking
yes.
Arya and Ezra.
No, because even back then, Hannah and Caleb they were perfect for each other. They were so sweet with each other. They understood each other in a way Arya and Ezra never did. Like, and taking out our frontal lobe developing, looking at the storyline, Ezra was awful. He was awful, okay? Even with our non-frontal lobe develops, not that part of the relationship, strictly his actions. Awful.
Yeah.
Caleb
the more
never
I think
did that.
about it. Yeah, Ezra did some really stupid things.
Yes. And we still love them. We still love them.
They are our number 2.
But Hannah and Caleb.
Yeah.
They just you should go back and watch. They are so
I need to go back
perfect
and
for
watch.
each other. They are so perfect for each other and so sweet, and I just love them so much. Okay. So I think it has to be Hannah and Caleb.
Okay, but I think it is too. I agree. I think Hannah and Caleb. Now, for the toxic non-developed frontal lobe of both of us.
Yes.
If it was down to Arya and Ezra and Chuck and Blair, where would you land? Like I just like because we've had to remove logic in a lot of this.
Well, when we remove healthy, which is Hannah and Caleb, and we're left with Arya and Ezra and Chuck and Blair, I don't know. That one's tough. Honestly, I would probably say Chuck and Blair.
I think so.
Because I'm really having a hard time turning off that frontal lobe totally. I don't know.
It's really hard to like think about when Ezra told her she looked really good in a dress when she was 16, and you're like, ooh, you're a 24-year-old man.
I would say Chuck and Blair. But
I think
again,
Chuck and Blair. But
going back to season 2, Pretty Little Liars, when it was airing, Arya and Ezra were unbeatable. Unbeatable.
When Ezra and Arya finally decided to tell Byron and Ella,
oh my
and
gosh,
they're standing there and they hold hands, and Mike comes and punches him.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. It was like, why can't you just see they love each other?
Why can't you
just see they love each other?
Obviously Ella and Byron were being so stupid. Like, could you not see that they were in love?
Their love was pure.
their love was so pure. That frontal lobe just really messes things
It
up
really does
sometimes.
ruin things for us sometimes. However,
But
Hannah and Caleb,
Hannah and Caleb,
I
yes,
love them so much.
they win.
So much. They win. They are perfect.
They're great.
They
Yeah,
are
no,
the
I
best
agree.
couple in Pretty Little Liars throughout the entirety, even if you include that terrible last season. Even if you include the
Because
terrible last
even at
season.
the like even in the terrible last season, yes, there's the little blip we don't talk about when Caleb dated Spencer. But even
Honestly,
that
probably
he
the
was
worst thing that happened in that last season.
worse than Spencer's twin with a British
Mm-hmm.
accent.
Mm-hmm.
Like so bad. Like honestly, do you know what we could have done? Which would have been funny? Between Gossip Girl and Pretty Little Liars, we could have done a bracket for each one with just the couples
We still
and
can at
just
some point.
we still can. That's something we should look into because that
Yes.
would be because you get all the combinations of
That's the
everybody
thing.
in
Everyone
Gossip.
dated everyone,
Yeah,
and some of these couples were awful.
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 Like controversial. Allison and Emily hated it.
Hated them. Hated them.
Hated
Hated them.
hated it.
Allison was so mean. Like, I think people need to go back and really rewatch how mean Allison was. And why did we all of a sudden, because she came back from hiding and, being this awful person for all this time, just because she came back, we all agreed that she was okay? Like, no, she was awful.
No, she was a horrible
She
human
was
being.
awful. So we could talk about
I
that
think
another day.
that's something we should dive into.
However,
But
Hannah and Caleb are one of,
they
if
were
not
great.
the best relationship ever. I love them so much.
Yes. And quite honestly, they had the best chance because the best parent in that show, Ashley Marin.
Ashley Marin, she slayed so hard. She did.
She
When everyone else was slacking off, caught up in their own crap,
Ashley
Ashley
was
was making
keeping
sure
up on
Hannah
them,
was home on time.
you know? And she let Caleb move into the basement
Yeah.
because she understood he was homeless and needed a place to go.
Yes, because he had a bad home life. It's their love story is
It's just
beautiful.
good. You know,
Their love
it's
story
good.
is gorgeous.
I agree.
Yes.
I think they're a good finale. I think they're
Yes.
a good
I think
winning
they are
pick.
too. Well, we will of course be doing this on our stories throughout the week as well.
So
So go vote.
because
Let
this is
us
a good one. I
know.
really want to know what other people think
Mhm.
because I think we will put a caveat in there that we're turning off our frontal lobes for these
Yes.
because again,
We get it. We
we get it.
agree. We agree. That's the thing. We agree. Arya and Ezra,
Bad.
awful.
Chuck
Awful.
and Blair, crazy toxic.
Absolutely insane.
Horrible for each other.
Horrible.
Horrible.
And Emily hasn't seen One Tree Hill. I think Nathan and Haley are going to go farther than they did here. But
Okay. I'm very interested to see. But yeah. So that's where we're at.
yes.
But
So,
I really want to see what the results are of this one because
mhm,
this will be
it's going to be a good
interesting.
one. Alrighty. Well, we love you all so very much. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. Go follow, subscribe, streaming platforms, social media,
Rate,
YouTube,
review,
rate, review. It's just
follow us on
801
TikToks
Diaries
everywhere.
podcast everywhere. Let it slay so hard. And then
Yeah.
we will see you
We'll
next
be
week.
back next week. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.